Welcome to Addiction Group's podcast, where we address pressing questions about addiction. Our goal is to provide insight and guidance for those seeking answers. I'm your host, Anna. Welcome to Addiction Group's podcast. Today, we're diving into a topic that touches hearts and communities everywhere, the intersection of homelessness and addiction. With us is Ben, an expert in addiction treatment and support mechanisms for vulnerable populations. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Happy to be here, Anna. It's an important topic that needs more light shed upon it.
Absolutely. To start, can you give us a brief understanding of what homelessness really means?
Sure, Anna. Homelessness is when an individual doesn't have a stable place to sleep at night, and that could mean living on the streets, in a car, or in temporary shelters. It's really about lacking secure and adequate housing.
Right, so that instability must have some profound effects. What are some of the main reasons people find themselves homeless?
There are a multitude of reasons, Anna. It could be personal circumstances like difficult home life or relationships, but often it's factors like not being able to keep a job, substance dependence, and mental health issues that are key contributors to someone becoming homeless.
It sounds like a complex issue. How does addiction fit into this picture?
Addiction is both a cause and a result of homelessness. The lack of stability can push someone towards substance use as a form of coping or escape. Conversely, those struggling with addiction may prioritize their substance use over housing due to dependency or financial strain from trying to fund their addiction.
It's like a cycle then?
Exactly, a very destructive one.
How do mental health issues play into this cycle?
Mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, or schizophrenia can make it hard for people to maintain stable living situations. This can lead to or exacerbate homelessness. Without proper support, they might turn to substances, which only compounds their difficulties.
What about the homeless population's access to treatment for these issues?
Unfortunately, traditional recovery programs are often out of reach for the homeless. They face barriers to accessing detox centers, rehab, and mental health services. It's a gap in the system that leaves many without the help they need.
That's tough to hear. You mentioned earlier that the stress of being homeless could lead to substance abuse. Can you elaborate on that?
Of course, the daily stress and trauma of living on the street can lead to people self-medicating with alcohol or drugs. This can worsen mental health issues or lead to dual diagnoses like co-occurring substance use and anxiety disorders.
What about young people or members of the LGBTQ community? Are they at risk too?
Very much so. Teenagers, for example, face a greater risk due to factors like abuse, stressful family environments, and early substance exposure. And LGBTQ individuals often face societal exclusion, which increases their risk of both homelessness and substance abuse.
So, is there hope for treatment and recovery for the homeless battling addiction?
There is always hope, Anna. Organizations like SAMHSA, the National Coalition for the Homeless, and programs like Boston Healthcare for the Homeless are doing great work. They offer various approaches to treatment, from abstinence to harm reduction, making support more accessible.
That's heartening to know. And before we wrap up, Ben, what do you think the future holds for addressing homelessness and addiction together?
It's about building understanding and compassion, Anna. We need to continue to develop tailored treatments that consider the unique challenges faced by the homeless. The more we can integrate support systems and raise awareness, the more impact we can make.
This has been incredibly insightful, Ben. Thank you for shedding light on the critical connection between homelessness and addiction. It's clear there's a lot to be done, but with the right support, change is possible.
Thank you, Anna. It's all about taking one step at a time towards a better future for everyone.
To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Addiction Group's podcast. Remember, this is a conversation that needs to continue. By understanding more, we can do more. Stay well and see you next time. Thank you for tuning into Addiction Group's podcast. We hope our discussions bring clarity to your queries about addiction. Remember, we're here to support and guide you. Until next time, stay informed and stay strong.